Welcome everyone to my Xilonen build guide. Xilonen is the newest upcoming character from Natlan, and one who has amazing team buffing capabilities. In this build guide, I will briefly go over her kit, then give some context regarding building her, go over talent priority, her best artifact set, main and substats, and lastly, weapons. Keep in mind that Xilonen is still in beta, and there may be some changes by the time she's out. And without further ado, let's briefly go over her kit. Xilonen is a 5-star Geo character who reduces opponents' resistance and can heal your active character. She scales on defense, wields a sword, and has a defense ascension bonus. Her normal attacks deal 3 hits of physical damage scaling on attack, while in the Night Soul's Blessing, Xilonen can deal up to 4 Geo-infused normal or plunging attacks, all of which scale on defense. Casting her elemental skill, Xilonen will deal Night Soul aligned Geo damage scaling on defense, and enter her Night Soul's Blessing, starting with 45 points. This Night Soul's Blessing has a duration limit of 9 seconds, and a maximum of 90 points. Xilonen will have 3 samplers. Each sampler starts with Geo and can absorb either Pyro, Electro, Cryo, or Hydro, depending on your party members. For each party member of the aforementioned elements, one sampler will absorb that said element. Multiple samplers can also absorb the same element from different characters, although the effects won't stack. Once Xilonen's Night Soul points reach the maximum limit, which can be done through her first passive and using her Geo-infused normal attacks, she will consume all points, activating the samplers and reducing nearby opponents' resistance to the absorbed elements by 33% at talent level 9. While Xilonen is in the Night Soul's Blessing, a Geo sampler will remain active regardless. You can also use her samplers to reduce opponents' Geo resistance by having 2 party members of an absorbable element, leaving the third sampler to be Geo. The samplers have a duration of 15 seconds, and the skill has a cooldown of 7 seconds. Xilonen's burst will deal Night Soul aligned Geo damage. If at least 2 samplers have absorbed an element, Xilonen will continuously heal your active characters at intervals for 12 seconds. If not, she will continue dealing more damage. As for her first passive, when at least 2 samplers have absorbed an element, using her Geo-infused normal or plunging attack during the Night Soul's Blessing will grant her 35 Night Soul points. If not, her attacks will deal increased damage. And for her second passive, when Xilonen's Night Soul points reach the maximum, she will trigger an effect equal to that of a Night Soul burst once every 14 seconds. Additionally, when another party member triggers a Night Soul burst, Xilonen's defense will be increased by 20% for 15 seconds. With that out of the way, Xilonen has the ability to reduce opponents' elemental resistance and even heal your active character, allowing her to be played with someone like Furina to stack Furina's damage buff. Each one of her 3 samplers will absorb an element from each Pyro, Electro, Cryo, or Hydro party member. If you only have 2 party members of these elements, the third sampler will remain Geo. To activate these samplers, you will need to unlock her first Ascension passive and use her Geo-infused attacks in the Night Soul's Blessing to gain more points. With a few hits, you can reach the 90-point limit, at which Xilonen will consume all points and activate the samplers, reducing nearby opponents' resistance to the absorbed elements. Her kit also allows her to deal more personal damage. By having fewer than 2 Pyro, Electro, Cryo, or Hydro party members, Xilonen's normal attacks during the Night Soul's Blessing will deal more damage instead of granting Night Soul points, and her burst will deal extra instances of damage instead of healing. Playing her in such a team would also not allow your samplers to be activated, although a Geo sampler will remain active to increase Xilonen's damage. You can definitely play her as a main DPS if you want to, although I wouldn't really recommend it, especially at C0. For this build guide, I'll be covering her builds as a support. As a support, Xilonen has the potential to greatly increase your team's damage. Throughout this guide, I will be comparing her different builds in a Mualani team. I'm just using Mualani as an example here, since she's one of the newer characters, but you can also definitely play her in other teams, including a team with a Geo main DPS like Navia, or practically any other team with Pyro, Electro, Cryo, or Hydro characters. This Mualani team also includes Furina and Xiangling, who both deal some of the team's damage, making use of Xilonen's buffs. Since Furina is in this team, more healing from Xilonen means more fanfare points, which translates into more damage. Anemo and Dendro do not react with Geo, and Xilonen's samplers don't absorb either Anemo or Dendro. When it comes to Xilonen's talent priority, you will first want to level up her elemental skill, as her resistance reduction scales with her skill level. Then you can level up her elemental burst, as her healing scales with burst level. Normal attacks are not a complete waste to level, but you can definitely ignore them, as Xilonen's personal damage does not contribute a lot to team damage, and her normal attack level barely makes a difference to team damage. As for Xilonen's artifact options, she has some, but one option should really only be considered unless you're running her as a main DPS. Scroll of the Hero of Cinder City is easily Xilonen's best option. This set's 2-piece bonus restores 6 energy to the equipping character when any party member triggers a Night Soul burst. As for the 4-piece bonus, when the character equipping this set triggers an elemental reaction, all party members will receive a 12% damage bonus for the elements involved in the reaction. When the character triggering the reaction is in their Night Soul's blessing, a further 28% damage bonus will be granted. Xilonen will need to use her Geo-infused normal attacks during the Night Soul's blessing to activate her samplers. With these attacks, you could trigger a crystallized reaction with either Pyro, Electro, Cryo, or Hydro, granting all party members a 40% damage bonus for both Geo and the other elements involved in the crystallized reaction. With this set, you could also trigger the effect with multiple elements at once. It's also important to note that Xilonen does not apply Geo on every single normal attack during the Night Soul's blessing, so if you trigger Crystallize with the wrong element, you will have to perform 3 hits until you apply Geo again, or use her burst while still in the Night Soul's blessing to trigger Crystallize. A 40% damage bonus is huge, so using this set on Xilonen is easily her best option. Before going over main stats, let's first go over Xilonen's energy recharge requirements. Xilonen's burst heals your active character, and in teams with Furina, using Xilonen's burst every rotation is important. To burst every rotation, Xilonen does not need a huge amount of energy recharge. If you're using the scroll of the Hero of Cinder City set, this set restores 6 energy to Xilonen when any party member triggers a Night Soul burst. A Night Soul burst can be triggered by any party member as long as your team includes a character from Natlan. Triggering a Night Soul burst only requires you to deal elemental damage. With more Natlan characters in your party, you can trigger a Night Soul burst more frequently. Xilonen's second passive also triggers an effect equal to that of a Night Soul burst once her Night Soul points reach the maximum. So in a 20-second rotation, you can trigger a Night Soul burst up to 3 times. Casting her skill generates 4 particles, which Xilonen can catch, as she will be on field for a few seconds using her Geo-infused attacks. All of this combined greatly reduces Xilonen's energy recharge requirements. To burst every rotation, Xilonen would need around 150 to 170% energy recharge, depending on your team. With another Geo party member, you could go even lower, with around 130 to 150% energy recharge. These estimates are usually a bit conservative, and in some teams, you could go with even less energy. As for main stats, For your sands, you will usually want defense. Energy recharge is viable if you don't have enough energy recharge. For your goblet, defense is the best option to increase her healing. For your circlet, healing bonus is the best option to increase her healing, but defense is also viable. Xilonen's healing scales on defense and has a flat bonus added to it, so going for geo damage on your goblet to give Xilonen more damage can also work, although it's not better than going with defense. Going for a crit build won't reduce your team's damage by a lot, and you can definitely go with that if you want to do so. As for substats, you will want energy recharge, then defense. Optionally, you can go for crit rate and damage or elemental mastery to increase the strength of crystallized shields. As for weapons, Xilonen's signature weapon is quite a big upgrade to the team's damage. This weapon, Peak Patrol Song, increases defense by 82.7%. When a normal or plunging attack hits an opponent, defense will be increased by 6% for up to 2 stacks. When 2 stacks are achieved, all party members' elemental damage will be increased by 12% for every 1,000 defense for up to 36% for 15 seconds. To reach the maximum effect of a 36% damage bonus, you would need 3,000 defense on Xilonen, which shouldn't be a problem with this weapon. This weapon greatly increases team damage. In this Mualani team, Peak Patrol Song is around an 8% increase to team DPS over the next best option. Freedom Sworn is a decent option to use, even though it increases elemental mastery. This weapon increases your party members' normal attack damage and attack, which makes it a decent supportive option. Mualani in this team can make use of the normal attack damage increase, but with a character that can make use of both the normal attack and attack bonus, Freedom Sworn will be a lot closer to Xilonen's signature weapon. Flute of Espitsal is the Natlan craftable sword, which increases defense and further increases defense after using your elemental skill. The extra defense allows Xilonen to deal more damage and heal more, which in this team increases Furina's damage buff. Favonia's sword is a decent option to use, as it allows your party members to build less energy, thereby increasing their damage and subsequently team damage. Uraku Misugiri is also fine to use. However, this weapon works best for increasing Xilonen's damage. In this team, Xilonen on Uraku Misugiri deals fractionally more personal damage than on Peak Patrol Song. And that's all from this guide. I'm looking forward to Xilonen's release, and she looks fairly easy to build. Thank you for making it to the end, and thank you for watching.